Who will save the dollar? This is a question I believe is on the minds of the US government and countries dependent on the US dollar. According to Bioevents 2022, US currently borrows $665 billion annually, and the dollar depreciation never gets better, which is affecting other countries' economy. This question will be answered by dealing with the root causes, of which I believe standard of living of citizens comes first. The people make the economy, and their shortcomings will be a blow to the economy. Hence, my research question is the standard of living of USA citizens influenced by their employment status? My name is Benedicta Lumo. Ma 2022 defines standard of living as the material wealth available to a person or a community, and this is measured by their housing, education, healthcare, and their general well-being. Various literature reviews and research have taken place concerning this topic. Among them is Homelessness Policy Research Institute, which conducted research in 2020 exploring the relationship between employment and homelessness. According to them, over 50% of homeless US citizens are unemployed. And guess what? 20% of these citizens are employed but have precarious jobs, that's low quality jobs. Also, according to Moffitt 2017, individuals with unstable forms of employment are more prone to financial crisis. This research explores the relationship between the standard of living of US citizens and their employment status. This research, I believe, is significant because it's going to help policymakers make informed decisions to strengthen their country's economy. To further understand my research question, I came up with three association questions. For my research questions, the explanatory variable is the employment status, while the response variable is the standard of living. So in my associations, I'm exploring the association between income level and their class of work, association between poverty status and income level, and association between employment status, poverty status and employment status. My sample data was extracted from IPINC USA 2021 survey with a total of 6,454,092 respondents from USA. The sampling method used was the stratified sampling method, and though the ages of the respondents were not specifically stated, the data was collected from adult individuals, but with household data, all ages were included. In measuring my variables, employment status variable. So individuals were categorized into whether they were employed, unemployed, or not in the labor force. For annual income, individuals were grouped into various income groups based on their total annual income. For class of worker variable, individuals were asked whether they worked for wages or were self-employed. And poverty status was calculated by dividing the household annual income by the poverty threshold. And as of 2021, the poverty threshold of USA was $24,858. The chi-square test was my major statistical test used in testing all three associations. Let's see how it worked. In testing my first association between income level and the class of worker, I first made my inferential test by stating the null hypothesis, meaning the null hypothesis, which was no association between the two variables, and the alternate, which was there's an association. My sample data was collected, summarized into a frequency and proportional table based on the column totals, and represented on a graph. From here, we could see that there might not be an association between the two variables, as the total number of respondents who worked for wages exceeded those who were self-employed. However, the p-value stated differently. Because it was less than 0.05, I rejected the null hypothesis, stating that there's an association between income level and class of worker. I repeated the same process for my second association by first stating my claims and plotting the data in the table and on the graph. From here, the graph shows an association. There could be an association between the two variables because the low income earners dominated the low income and poor poverty status groups, whilst the high income and middle class income earners dominated the affluent and middle class poverty status groups. And the p-value and test statistics confirmed this. Since the p-value was less than 0.05, I rejected the null hypothesis and concluded that there's an association between individuals' poverty status and their income level. Same happened for the last association between individuals' poverty status and employment status. From the graph, there could be an association between the two variables, and the p-value confirms this as well. With the p-value being less than 0.05, the null hypothesis was rejected. Hence, a conclusion was made that there's an association between individuals' poverty status and employment status. Drawing from all these associations, it's quite evident that the standard of living of USA citizens is highly influenced by their employment status. And this is confirmed by the literature research mentioned earlier, looking at the causes of these differences in terms of individuals with low quality jobs or individuals who were unemployed and had bad working conditions were more prone to financial crisis as compared to those who had good employment status. These results, though statistically significant, could be practically insignificant looking at the disparity between the sample size and the population size. So currently, US population size is 331.9 million, right? And this is a wide range. Also, I believe these results are going to help the government make informed decisions to fill the gap in employment and in order to increase or improve standard of living, which will further strengthen the country's economy. One limitation I faced was not including cost of living as a variable, and that I believe distorted the results a bit. So I would suggest that researchers taking on this will include cost of living as a variable. These are my references. Thank you.